Hi everybody, I know there's a good confusing section, I think, at least with the super items and the custom items, and I think even the mob changes are a little bit confusing. So I'm going to be explaining all those things right here. Hopefully I do this as fast as possible, we'll just have to see. So the first thing I'm going to cover is going to be the custom items. So, using this lovely command block room right here, I have made a bunch of custom items that do a bunch of random things. Mainly just give people effects or give people items. So, let's see. So, the first item we have is Scoot. So what Scoot does is it gives players Poison 2 for like 3 seconds. So, here's a guideline for how each of these work. So you drop the item, you have to drop it, and you have to be near it. So in this case, for all negative effects, they affect players in a 3-block radius, but for positive effects, they're in a 2-block radius. You can just drop it down near you, and there you go. You got Poison 2 for 3 seconds. So you can just drop it near somebody, and they get poisoned. It doesn't have that much range because there's a command block that kills, that quote-unquote kills or destroys the item a little bit after you drop it. I think something weird happens when you spam it like this. Yeah, see it's 6 on there, and or it stays on here, and you can see the command doesn't work, so you have to recollect all those scoots. So don't spam them. I think that's really everything about how those items work. So in that case, let's just go through the list. We already went through Scoot, which is Poison Curse, or Poison Trap. Next we have the Decay Trap, which is mapped to Coal. Gives people Decay, or Wither 1 for 5 seconds. Quite simple. And then we have the Phantom Membrane. This is a slow falling boost, which gives the player slow falling for 5 seconds. Next up we have the Levitation Boost. This will give the player Levitation 5 for 3 seconds, so you can go to some pretty high heights. You don't have to use this just for yourself. You can use this against other players. Make them take a little bit of fall damage, which especially helps when Feather Falling is banned this time around. And just to keep in mind, a little bit thing that's a little bit different with this one is that it triggers a lot slower than the other ones, and that's because I need it to be that way because it's a little bit spammable to where you can just repeatedly use a levitation. It's kind of hard to show here because I gave that delay. It's still kind of possible, but I think with that delay it makes it a lot harder, which is good because I don't want to exploit like that. That's about it for Levitation Trap. Next up we have the Feather, which gives the player Weakness 2 for 10 seconds. And then the next one is the Iron Nugget, and this is a Slowness Trap. Gives player Slowness 1 for 10 seconds. And then we have, this one's a little bit special. So this is Orange Dye. This is a Strength buff. As you can see here, it even tells you, it makes a sound, and it shows a little bit thing on the log that a strength buff has been used. This tells everybody. It doesn't mean everybody has strength, but it means a strength buff has been used. And so this one gives you strength 1 for a full minute. So the catch on the strength buff is that you can only use 5 per match. Strength is pretty powerful in this rule set. So the potions that are currently here that give strength 1 are a little bit too long. They're a little bit, I would say a little bit broken. So I have to tone strength 1 down so that it's only going on for a minute. And that's it for the special, I call them special effects, or potion effects, custom items. I also have a few more to cover. These items are called the provider items. So what these custom items do is they give you certain items. I think this was definitely confusing because it's like, why would you need an item to give you another item when you can just go into the creative inventory to get those items? So here's the thing, it's storage management. to explain a little. Sometimes when you want certain things, they're going to take up a lot of space. Using these items, you only take up one slot of inventory, and you can get 64 stacks. Not a stack of 64. 64 stacks of any item. Or, well, in this case, there's a snowball provider. Spoiler alert, so that's a 16 stack, but it helps because you don't have all of that item immediately. You don't have all 64 stacks immediately. Because, you know, there's only like 20 or 36 slots in your inventory. So you can't fit 64 stacks in there. Which is why you get this item. Simply, you throw it right there, and boom, you get an item. So this is the XP provider. It gives me XP bottles, which are going to be very important because your armor's not supposed to break because you're going to be using these because they all have mending. And if you don't use these XP bottles, then we encourage that you do, because let's just say I'm keeping the rule that you can only have one set of armor per match. That way, that encourages people to use mending and these XP bottles. So yeah, I can do this how many times as I want, as it just keeps generating, or well, 64 times anyway. And it just keeps generating XP bottles for me. And so this works for 4 other items. And those items would be nether quartz. I don't even remember. Okay, so this is a snowball provider. Since they're not that useful, I think this is very good to have a provider for them. They don't do much except knockback, but I've seen for a few people that it might help. Next up, we have white dye, which is the bone provider. It gives bones so that you can keep taming wolves. And then last up, we have the gas tier, which gives you cobwebs. So yeah, those are all the items, the normal ones anyway. And so we also have super items. So, as you guys saw with last season, the enchanted golden apple was pretty strong. A little bit too strong. It really just determined who won the match. I mean, if you didn't use the enchanted golden apple, I mean, you lost. You were at a huge disadvantage. And so I don't like that, but I do like the idea of a comeback mechanic. So I decided to make 8 super items. And here's what they all are. So they work just the same as custom items. Let's go ahead and go to the first one. So the first one is mapped to pink dye, and it is a regen buff. And as you can see, it puts a title on the screen so that everybody knows that you just gave yourself a regen buff. So this is basically the replacement for the enchanted apple. This one specifically, you get regen 5 for 30 seconds, resistance 2 for a minute, absorption 4 for a minute, and that's everything. So it's a toned down enchanted golden apple. As you can see, you don't get the fire resistance, and the resistance and the absorption don't last as long. But the regen is still there, so keep that in mind. So it's still pretty good. Next up, we have the super strength. Now this one simply just gives you strength 2 for a minute and 30 seconds. So that's a good amount of time to get some real damage going, as long as the opponent doesn't keep running away. Next up, we have super speed, which gives you speed for a whole minute. And then after that, we got a cool one right here. This is the poison curse. This is risk and reward right here. It doesn't matter where you throw this. Every player gets poison. They get poison 2 for a full minute. It's risk and reward. So you could really do some damage, but you could also do a lot of damage to yourself. Oh, I should probably mention, each super item has a set amount of uses. The past 4 items we covered, you can only use them once per match. Oh, I should also mention that you can only use one type of super item per match. So I can't use Poison Curse and a Super Strength in the same match. I can use them in different matches, but not in the same match. Next up, we have the Levitation Curse. Now this one gives every player Levitation 3 for 30 seconds. Now, unlike the past 4 super items, you actually get to use this one 3 times per match. So use them wisely. So next up, we have the debuff curse. Any player in this 3-block radius will get slowness 2 for a minute and weakness 4 for 2 minutes. Obviously, the catch is you have to hit the player with it, or you have to drop it near it. So, hey, and the item is destroyed afterwards, so there's a lot of risk with this one. So the next 2 items spawn mobs. And the first one we have, well, it's the Wither. You get to spawn 1 Wither, and it's going to be total chaos. Just look out, alright? Just look out. However, if crazy Withers aren't your thing, then maybe you might want to spawn a Ravager. Oh, I should probably mention that this Ravager actually has Strength 3. And yes, that is permanent. And you get to spawn 3 of them. So watch out for the Ravagers. Just so you guys know, the Ravagers 2-shot kill you. So yeah, those are all the super items. And I hope the custom items and the super items are good. And I hope they're useful. I really hope everybody uses them. And I hope they make this metagame better. Like, more fun. So next up, we have to talk about mobs. So as you guys know, mobs, not really that good in previous seasons. So I think it's time that we do something about it. Now, there's a lot of changes with mobs to go over. So first of all, the people that use mobs are going to be seeing a lot less mobs on the battlefield, even if they spam them. Because there is now a mob limit for most of the mobs. Because some have been buffed like crazy. And so we need to tone them down a little bit while still making them viable. And so basically how this mob limit works is... So let's look at the zombie. So the zombie has a mob limit of 5. Meaning that there can only be 5 zombies on the battlefield. So let me just go ahead and spawn 5 right here. Wow, that's crazy. There's 5 zombies on the battlefield. What if I spawn a 6th one? Well, it could either be punishment, or it could save your life. It kills all the zombies. And so, that is genuinely a strategy you can use. If, say, you're under pressure with a bunch of zombies, and you have the zombie spawn egg, just spawn another one. It works out. And now I'm going to go over the changes to each mob. So, the zombies are now equipped with a diamond sword. Additionally, yeah, that's a lot. They got a diamond sword. But additionally, they also have, get this, strength 4 and speed 1. Now, that sounds like a lot, but that's only 3 full hearts of damage. That's not too much. That's like, obviously, that's a lot more than what a player can do with 1 hit. But, I mean, players can rack up damage very fast. Next up, we have a Husk. He's also equipped with the diamond sword, but this time, instead of having any type of speed, he actually has strength 5. Just strength 5. Let's see, where is he right now? So yeah, he does 4 full hearts. Also, the Husks also have a mob limit of 5. So now we have the Strays. The Strays aren't that strong, so they will not have a mob limit. But they will have resistance 1. Let's see how much damage they do. Oh, well. See, not even a full heart. But they do give you slowness. Next up, we got the Wither Skeleton. Now, this Wither Skeleton is simply just equipped with Strength 1. But that's not to say that it's not a threat. That's 2 hearts and a half, plus the Wither damage. Let's see, I think that's about... Yeah, that's 4 full hearts right there. The Wither Skeletons have a mob limit of 5. Now, this next one, just brace yourself. There's a lot going on here. So, obviously, you see I got a creeper in my hand. But something special happens when I spawn that creeper. There's lightning. And obviously, when a creeper is struck with lightning, it becomes a charged creeper. Now, I'm going to show you here, the creepers do a lot of damage. But they are slow because they have slowness too. Oh, that actually killed me. I didn't think it would. Last time I checked, it did like 7 hearts. So, like, look out. Don't worry, they got a mob limit of 2. So next up we have the zombie pigmen. And there's not much that's changed to them. They don't have a mob limit, so keep that in mind. But they also now have a stone sword. But do keep in mind, they do a heart and a half. And when there's no mob limit, that damage is going to stack up if you keep spawning them. Now next up we have the blaze. Now you can use the blaze to inflict people with fire, because fire is going to be a lot less common due to fire aspect and flame being banned. The blazes aren't really, in my opinion, that useful, so there's no mob limit on them. Spawn as many as you like. The same goes for the witch, which you can use to give status effects to. There's no mob limit on them. Next up, we got the Vindicator. Now the Vindicator has strength 1 and a mob limit of 5. Let's check that out real fast. Oh, see, that does 2 hearts and a half. It's a good amount of damage, so watch out for those guys. Now next up we got the Shulker. There's not much to change with them, except we now have a mob limit of 10. After being banned in Season 2, the Wolf makes a triumphant return, which now gets Resistance 3, which means it's a 2-shot. No mob limit on them, so you could have a huge army. But do keep in mind, you can only start taming them when the match starts. Now, the next mob we have is the newly introduced Bee. Now, you can use, these guys are a lot like zombie pigmen, where you attack one, you anger all of them, and because they have poison, they actually rack up a ton of damage if you hit them, so you're going to need to look out for these guys. Also, originally, bees are 1-shot. But thanks to their resistance 1, they're 2-shot. So watch out. The bees also have a mob limit, but it's much larger than everyone else's. They got a mob limit of 14. And the very last mob I need to talk about is going to be the cow. Yeah, you heard me. And you may think I'm stupid at first, but like, I mean, come on. Milk. Milk. And so those are all the mobs for the PvP season. I really hope the mobs are a lot better this time. I hope they're used coolly. That's a real word. I swear. No, it's not. I really hope everything I made here goes out well. I worked really hard on all this stuff. Be sure to check the rules. Remember, you can't do your actual matches until you do a practice match with me and you're given the okay. Also, any mob I didn't mention is going to be banned. That's all I gotta say. So I hope all the participants take this into account, and I hope I taught them well about these items. And I'll see you when Season 3 starts June 9th.